everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 41, Why I Hate Motivational Speakers. At this time, I should be moved into my house, which is so exciting. So when you're listening to this episode, I now live in a house that we're paying a whole bunch of money for. But it's really beautiful, and hopefully we're feeling really in love and really happy and not fighting about something dumb. So I'm very excited at the time I'm recording this episode. We're kind of in the thick of it. We should be doing our inspection this week, and there's a whole slew of thoughts that come along with this new situation in our lives, but there's always something to put it in perspective. And I have mixed feelings about, these kinds of thoughts, but sometimes they come along right when I need them. And what I'm referring to is my husband actually works for a company based out of Tel Aviv, Israel. And I don't know the full extent of the situation happening, and I'm not trying to take a stance necessarily with either side or anything like that, because I don't know enough details. I'm not a politician, and I don't pretend to be one. But my husband, I know, has a lot of coworkers, and the company as a whole has faced some struggles per this situation. And I remember there was a day we were really frustrated about something with our house. I think it had to do with not being certain about when we were going to be able to move in. And my husband and I were talking at dinner, and he had mentioned that one of his coworkers was now serving in the military, and that he had just sent a photo. And it kind of just hit me like, oh, dang it, I did it again. I worried about something that doesn't matter. And I worried about something that is going to be totally inconsequential in the long run. And I don't think I need to feel bad about that. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time in shame, but it put things into perspective immediately of nothing in life is certain, and some things can happen, and some things are just bigger than others. And in that situation, I was like, wow, like the people there are dealing with a lot of things. Like, this little inconsequential thing does not matter, and I'm so incredibly blessed. And again, I don't shame myself for how I felt, but it was a great perspective builder for me. So that actually ties in pretty well to what I wanted to talk about today, because I want to talk a little bit about shame and our past selves and grace and all of those beautiful things. And I titled this episode, Why I Hate Motivational Speakers, because I do not hate the people. I know that's an aggressive title. I don't love a lot of their speeches and a lot of their messaging. Some would argue that my podcast is probably motivational speaking. So there's definitely different forms and different versions. And if you've heard a motivational speaker that changed the course of your life, they were probably really good, and they were probably awesome. And I'm so glad that was the results for you. But I have had somewhat negative experiences with motivational speakers. I work at a university, and they usually bring in a motivational speaker at least once or twice a year. So I hear these speeches a lot, and for some reason for me, they're like freaking torture. You would think it would be something that I would eat up, but I think there's a few reasons I don't like them. One, it's because I think I'm at work, and I'm going to share 4 things that I don't love about them. And number one, I think the reason I don't like it in the context of work is because it feels like they're trying to motivate you to do more and to be more. And I hate that feeling, especially in the workplace when I feel like I'm already working really hard. And so I feel like somebody's telling me you should be doing more for your job when I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions on what my job should be doing for me. And so there's a little bit of negativity there on my side. And this is a somewhat negative episode. So I'm going to do my best to show you how it can be positive and how you can implement it when you're listening to things like my podcast or motivational speakers, and how you can apply things. But a lot of these speakers talk about doing more. Like, you can do it. Like, you can do more. And in my experience, that is not the message that a lot of people I talk to need to hear. A lot of times the message they need to hear is you're doing enough, or you're enough, or you're absolutely doing awesome. This feeling of needing to do more and be more, I think perpetuates this hustle culture in our society of needing the biggest house, needing the most prestigious job, or needing the perfect family, the perfect Instagram, or whatever. And I don't like that. I don't like that message. I don't think, generally speaking, you ever need to tell someone that they can be doing more or should do more. I think that there's other messages that you can give to people that as a byproduct, they might do more, but not necessarily the message of just like, you should do it. You should go do more stuff. And a lot of times I think it just leaves people feeling discouraged and like they're not enough. And that's not going to perpetuate them doing more, if that's their goal. So another reason I don't love motivational speakers is they shame the past versions of themselves a lot of the time. For example, I watched a woman speak. I don't even remember her name, but she had some sort of weight loss journey, and she showed like some pictures of herself, like before and after type pictures, and she was really mean about her past self. Like, she's like, look at this girl, like she's not happy, she's whatever. And then she showed the new version of herself and was like, this is me, this is who I am. And I don't know if that's how she intended her message, but it felt like she was really ashamed of who she used to be. And I just think that there's a way to be proud of how far you've come without putting shame on the past versions of yourself. And the reason I think that's important in motivational speaking is because, like, somebody, probably the majority of the people you're talking to, are in that past version. They're not in the current, hey, look, I'm great version. And so making people feel bad about who they are right now is not my favorite thing. I don't think using shame as a motivator is ever the right call, especially, to other people in the audience. I mean, a lot of us already use shame to motivate ourselves just in our internal monologue, but to have somebody else, echo that voice is not great, not my favorite. Another thing I've just noticed that's a little strange is a lot of times motivational speakers are trying to accomplish or have accomplished a physical feat. Like, I ran 1 million marathons in 5 days. Or like, I climbed a mountain that goes to the moon. And that is so weird to me. I'm always like, I don't want to do that. Like, I have no desire to do that. I'd love to see somebody who was just like, even if they were talking about something physical, they're like, I learned a new skill and I got stronger and it was super fun. Instead of like, I worked my body to the bone. I cried every single day. My family's now broken and now I'm happy and proud of who I was. It's so weird. I'm making it sound more dark than they make it sound, obviously, but that's always how it comes across to me. It seems like the experience was so negative a lot of the times, but they're like proud of the fact that they pushed their body to its limits. And that's just not a thing I'm even a little bit interested in. I'm interested in like optimizing my body for daily tasks and for general health, but to like push my body beyond the limits of what it's supposed to do, I think is super weird. Not trying to belittle all that they've done, especially if that's something that they're very proud of, then I hate to be the person that says you shouldn't be proud of that. I think that they can be, but I also think it's a little bit dangerous messaging. I don't think everybody should climb a mountain to the moon. I don't think everybody should run a bajillion marathons in 2 days. And so that's just my thoughts. A little weird. But my last thought I already touched on a little bit is the use of shame to motivate. I especially see this in regards to like weight loss and to just general self-improvement. People think they need to hate themselves into being better, and that's just not the case. You don't need to hate your past self. You don't need to hate your current self in order to make some improvements in your life. And you might need to watch your language and be like, well, I don't need to become better necessarily. You might just be like, I want to do things a little bit differently, and allowing yourself to view things more neutrally rather than I'm doing things wrong or I'm doing things bad. It might be, I don't love the way I feel when I do these things, so I'd like to do different things. And let yourself get more neutral about it and allow yourself to love yourself even potentially into change. Like, hey, I want to do this thing because I deserve it, because I deserve to feel amazing. I deserve to feel better. And allow yourself not to say that you won't be worth anything until this thing is accomplished. Because a lot of times if we do that, when we reach that thing, if we reach the said feat, it might fall short. You might feel like, dang, I still kind of hate myself. And so if we can love ourselves exactly how we are right now, there's nothing we have to do or accomplish in order to be worthy of love. And so allow yourself to say, hey, I'm really awesome. I'm really great. And I'd just like to do things a little bit differently. I'd like to change up my diet. I'd like to change up my workout routine. I would like to go to therapy. I would like to start a podcast, whatever it is that you're doing. Allow yourself to do it because you love yourself, not because you hate yourself. Because if you do things, if you change your circumstances because you hate yourself, there's a good chance you'll come out the other side still hating yourself. So that's all I wanted to say. If you're a motivational speaker, I probably really like you as a person. Just take a look at your speech because it might not be my favorite. And you guys don't have to share my opinion. If you love motivational speakers and sitting down with the PowerPoints and the watching the dudes run 1 million marathons in 4 hours. I know my time frame keeps getting shorter and shorter. Then you do you. That's awesome if that motivates you and you want to hold on to that. But I've decided for the most part, I will give them a good listen for the first 10 or 15 minutes. But if they've said several things that I just don't agree with, I generally start to tune out. And that might be good or bad or neutral. So thank you guys so much for listening. I think you're all wonderful and amazing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And leave a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.